We are live on Facebook.
Hey, Sanbona family, those who are on Facebook. Okay, we are on. Greetings, everybody. I have some books that I'm going to be quoting from today. One of them is this one. It's called Your Galactic Neighbors. I don't know in what shape or form it shows there. Your Galactic Neighbors. We'll be speaking a little bit about the stars. We'll be speaking a little bit about motherhood. We'll be speaking of not just motherhood, the feminine principle, which is existing in men and women and in the earth and in the sky. So, Coco, you let me know when I need to do the pledge and to start with our meditation.
You can
And,
we can start formally.
okay. All right. I'm going to share, we're going to start formally right now, but I wanted to let people know what today, I'm not sitting up straight because ngenzanga mabomu in the ancient Egyptian, ancient Kemetic tradition, the goddess that we are celebrating today, she covers the sky, but beneath her, there's a man reclining, just like the way I'm reclining. So it's a kind of a woman on top kind of position, but it is very sacred, a sacred kind of position according to our great ancestors. But we'll explain that later when we get into who is this Koko that we call Newt. But I'm reclining because I'm representing Geb, who is the Earth Father, and Nut is the Sky Goddess or the Sky Mother. Is on Pandla, Amesh. So for the comfort of the ones who are watching, I need to bring this down. Yes, everyone. My name is Menzi Masego. Welcome to Ikambi Natural Healing, the In Healing Sunday sessions. I wanted to say that this is the last session of the year, but that would not be correct per se. But it is the last the last of the cycle. The year is coming to an end according to the African calendar. Different various African calendars, we end our year in August, between August and September, mid-September, sometimes late September. That is our end of the year and our beginning of the year. So we are very excited to the goddess Nut from when we started with Osar, and we are back here full circle to the goddess or the natural power, which we call Nut. I'm with Mankosi. I'm with Mankosi Uneli, Uneli Nkosi. And okay, Nelly Nkosi, you'll deal with the waiting room, people in the waiting room, because I'm going to start now with our meditation, our quick meditation. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You'll excuse me. Today I'm doing it from the house, and I did not dismiss my people to go and play. Because they usually make noise and come up. But today I just said let them go. If they want to come and make. Okay. The name is Menzi Masego, and we here at Ikambi we usually start our sessions with the breathing meditation, just to welcome the good spirit, the spirit of our ancestors, the spirit of Bona Abakulu Basekemu, those great ones from ancient Kush, from ancient Africa, and from the source where we are from, and we welcome the Creator, our God, the Creator, by any other name, whether you say Mvelingangi, whether you say Ramasedi, whether you say Ra, whether you say Amun, whichever name you choose for the Creator, ask him or her to come and be in this space. So we just basically sit quietly or stand, and then we take a very deep breath in. Hold it, and we breathe out. Relax our shoulders as we breathe out, and relax our stomach. And then we breathe in again, take a deep breath in. Hold it. Let your ancestors in, let the Creator in, and be present fully in your mind, soul in this place, and let go. Take another deep breath in and celebrate yourself, celebrate your worth, celebrate your value. Know that you are valuable and you're attentive and you have agents. And you let go. And we give thanks to the creative source. We give thanks to all the creative spirits that are around us, from the earth to the sky, to beyond the galaxies. We give thanks to the Creator for this moment to be Ikambi for the people and for ourselves. So today, what we will do, we will just have an open discussion about the goddess Nut, known as Nut, spelled N-U-T, pronounced N-O-O-T, the ancient African goddess. We're going to use words like goddess, but as we always emphasize to our people, that we do not usually use the word God or gods and goddess. We use them because English is so limited. We know that these are just natural powers. They are metaphors for divine beings that are actually spiritual forces that exist within ourselves and also within the universe. And Kwikambi, we have a healer's pledge, which I shall ask everyone to unmute their mics, because we believe that the word, the sounded word, the spoken word, is powerful, according to the Nguni language, which means the word is creative. So together we recite the healer's pledge, and everyone recites after me. I try to recite in a pace that everyone can follow. So this is the healer's pledge, which is a code of conduct for us. Ikambi, which is the cure, or what means the cure or medicine in Zulu. So we say Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
We owe our gifts to nature, our ancestors, and our creators.
We
owe
owe
our
our
gifts
gifts
to our
nature,
ancestors.
our ancestors, and our Creator.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Unu, Ubuntu.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Unu, and Ubuntu.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will offer our advice, recommendations, and ideas with trust.
We will offer our advice, recommendations with trust.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural healing.
We will share, practice, and raise awareness on natural healing.
Healthy lifestyles and well-being.
Healthy lifestyle and well-being.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information and falsehood.
We
We
will
will
refrain
refrain
from
from
posting
posting
irrelevant
irrelevant
information
information and
and
falsehood.
falsehood.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi,
We
We
are
are healers.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
our
Our
gift
gift are a
are
gift to humanity
humanity
and nature.
and nature.
We will give back to nature what she has abundantly given us.
we
We
will
will
give
give
back
back
to
to nature
What
to
she has abundantly
what she
given
has
to us.
abundantly given to us.
Siyathokoza. Kamako, Ashe, Ashe, Amen, Amen, Amen. Ra. So, Mankosi, you are here. Say hello to the people.
Just give me a second.
Okay.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Neli Nkosi. I will be flying with Kulumenzi in this discussion. So you see two co-hosting with Kulumenzi. I'm hoping that we actually get to engage in a fruitful conversation. Feel free to raise your hand. Feel free to participate in the discussion because siyafundisana at the end of the day, siyafundisana, sobonisana, and ukuthi sibuyela kanjani esintwini sethu. Camakwe.
True. Thank you for that, Coco. As she has said already, this is all about us returning to Isintu, which everyone must get very clear that it is not a matter of religion. It is not a matter of maybe a personal choice. I mean, Isintu, and the other people can do whatever they like. Or me, I embrace the Lord, or me, I embrace Allah, or me, I embrace whichever form of religion is about a natural way of living life. And from the beginning, it can be natural healing began specifically dealing with a lot of herbs. Marcos was leading us a lot there. We were all speaking about learning how to use herbs that are relevant to the season, relevant to the particular time, and relevant to even the epidemic. These epidemics. So, but even when we are still going through certain things, we must be able to use nature. We must be able to gain wisdom from Mother Nature and Father Nature and Father Time. Gain that wisdom so that we can help ourselves and help our communities to thrive, to be healthy, both psychologically, spiritually, and physically. Why are you laughing, Mangos? Your mic is off. Your mic is okay. You are back. What were you smiling about? Hello. Oh, Mankosi is not. She's not audible. So
Oh,
I will ask.
sorry. Then Kulmangeta. No, I'm saying that we've come full circle in a sense that this is the first time that we actually finished a full cycle because Ikambi was born in the middle of the year, the previous year, Angit. And we started again in Sakalangayu Babu Osa, and then we've chatted along the line, and now we are back in Dovgaz, to the mother of the skies. Mazulu.
Yes. And when we say Mazulu, people must not feel offended if you happen not to be from a particular nation or tribe called Zulu. When we speak of Izulu, we are speaking about the actual Zulu, the heavens. So when we're calling her Mazulu, we are not saying she's married to, Mrs. Zulu, or she's born from that family. No, Ubuzulu is something way beyond and greater than a particular tribe, and it's not just a family name. So everyone is welcome. from every nation, every tribe, every family.
I think also this is an
Mazulu.
opportunity, Mkhulu, ukuthi see like the people who speak a different language. We have a bias because we speak Zulu, and people who speak a different language, they can actually teach us. Ukuthi akere go na le madinaledi, maybe they can teach us ukuthi in their language, because Nut she's like the sky, the great mother of the skies, and so maybe in your language, if you can share in your language, what do you call the great sky?
Yeah, well, people can just raise their hands in the middle of the conversation, wherever. It's a very open conversation. As we know, like we can't be, what we do, the first session is very open, and then the sessions that what's the word, precede or after? What's the word? What's the English word for after?
English never loved us. English never loved us.
The sessions that come after, they are more set. We have a particular speaker speaking of a particular subject, and then we'll be posting those on our YouTube and all that. But the point I'm raising is that this conversation is really, it's for you. Whoever is in this chat, in this session, they must feel very free to raise their hand if they want to speak at any time. But with an invocation, I'm going to read from a script here, a book called The Sacred Magic of Ancient Egypt by Rosemary Clark. There are many books of the ancient Egyptian spirituality, which is an ancient African spirituality. And we always emphasize to the people that when we say Egypt, people always think exotic, because what Egyptologists have done, they've made Egypt into something which is very far away and very un-African because of of their achievements and all that. But for us who understand and know our history, we know that even that ancient civilization of Egypt, as advanced as it was, the spirituality is still advanced even now. Rises up for us in the Southern Africa? That's a good question someone is asking, but we're going to get to that question later about Sirius. In fact, it's a good question because I've got a book that explains exactly about Sirius rising. They are asking about Sirius rising in Southern. Yes.
Before you read the invocation, can I just ask you, for the benefit of those who are probably new, some of us, we were not raised in an environment where we could say, oh, we know who Nut is. Like, can you please when you speak of Nut, what kind of a divine force are you talking about? I know in mythology it is said that she swallowed the sun and gave birth to the moon. So yeah, for the benefit of those who are not really familiar with Nut, can you please just walk us through?
Okay. All right. No, that's cool. You know, I will start this way. When we speak about the night sky, Nut is called the goddess of the night sky, the one who is clothed in stars and is dark. She's a dark lady, black, so that she can reflect the sky, the heavenly bodies on her body. Now, that's why I was giving a kind of like a brief understanding and Southern African understanding of ancient Egypt, so that people can understand that when we speak of ancient Egypt, we're not speaking about something foreign. We are speaking about it's to say it's still part of our divine heritage as Abantu Abantsundu. So like if you go to Nigeria, you hear them speaking about Yemaya or Oya or Eya. You go to Ghana, you go to different parts of Africa. There's always, as much as people have been colonized and all that, there's a whole lot of new religions. Amongst the people who observe their indigenous rites or rituals, there is always a divine mother. Now, divine mothers, scales. Some people say, no, it's the same mother manifesting herself in different ways. Like Manji, we just came from the goddess Ma'at, who holds the scales of justice, truth, and harmony. She's a woman. We came from Oset, We came from Sekhmet. Oset, she's also a mother. We came from Sekhmet. She's also a mother, even though she wears the head of a lioness. She has the appearance of principle. The feminine God principle or the feminine divine principle has different attributes. So Unut is the one that carries the attributes of astronomy. By astronomy, I basically mean of the stars. Now, every civilization and every culture has a culture of observing the stars, whether for agriculture purposes or whether for timekeeping purposes or whether for divination purposes or for storytelling. If you're telling mythical stories, that there will be something to do with what star was when were you when you were born, what star was prominent, or what position was the moon, kwakunjani exactly, because in ancient African knowledge we always say as above so below, as it is in heaven.
And it's interesting.
So it is, yeah.
It's
so
interesting
note is that one
because
up there. Yeah,
so I was saying that it's very interesting because it doesn't matter which nation that you come from, we've always used stars for direction. They are a map to find your way home.
Absolutely. It's absolutely, yes. But it's important for people to note that the first knowledge of navigating through the stars came from ancient Africa. And now, just to close off the passage about Egypt being a very African civilization, we were just looking, like as a family, we were just studying throughout the week. In fact, we kept looking at this whole issue of the source of the River Nile. We thought the River Nile has a source, and the source is in what they call Lake Victoria. I think the place is called Jena, in Uganda, right? It's a lake. They call it Lake Victoria because it's been colonized. The space has been colonized. But obviously, the locals have names for it. They have different languages and different names for it. So the Nile River begins in Uganda and carries it carries civilization all the way up to Egypt. So basically, we are saying that this civilization begins in Middle Egypt. I mean, in Middle Africa, Enkabeni, what we say is Enkabazwe, which means the navel of the continent, the navel of the land. So Unut is the great mother that is depicted as a woman. How can I say? Arching over the sky, and in her body there are stars, but not only stars. It is said, according to izinganekwane nezindaba zomkhulu zakudala, babethi Nut has the sun traveling within her body. So in the day you do not see her, but the sun in the day is traveling through her body. It is hidden in her body. But in the morning, the sun is born. So she is also the mother of the sun. She gives birth to the sun every morning. So this is the story. These are allegorical stories. These are symbolic stories that teach us something. That teach us something about, that's the image. That teach us something about not only time, but what happens at a particular time and what it is that we are supposed to do. What kind of thoughts are we supposed to have? What kind of healing? What kind of meditation that we are supposed to have? Let me just read it quickly. In ancient Egyptian civilization, the goddess of the sky, the vault of the heavens, often depicted as a woman arched over the earth, God, Geb. She arches over Ugeb. But I don't want to say too much. She was also represented as a cow. She's represented as the cow, in Nkomas. And there's a reason why they represent her as Nkomas. But you can say something else, Coco, and then I'm going to read the invocation. Because the invocation basically is like umtandazo. It's a word that calls upon the powers of this great goddess. And then we're going to go deeper in and see what
Mkulu, you can continue with the invocation because I think you've quite well explained for those who are not familiar with Unut. You've explained Unut Uban. You can read the invocation and then we'll proceed with how important this mother is in terms of the discussions of the day.
Okay, cool. So the invocation is called a hekaut. I'm gonna just read it, so I'll be looking down. The hekaut, the word itself, hekau, means words of power. The Egyptologists have used the have termed it words of magic, but I don't want to deny that it is magical. To focus on things as if they are magical, as if it's impossible for someone else to do. You know, when you say magic, it's like, oh, I can't do no magic. But according to Sintu, when we speak about hekau, it's the same as the importance of prayer. You have to express the words with your mouth to give them the power, right? So it goes like this, and we will ask Roy there to explain the other. Determining the divine power or the divine force. The invocation goes like this. Your mother Nut spreads herself over you. In her name, coverer of heaven, she assists you in becoming as a god, or to become a divine being, without enemy, in the name of Neter. She takes away from you every evil. In her name, defender from every evil. Great lady, from the waters of Nun, you bring forth life. Nun is the great water. Before earth was created, anything was created, everything was basically covered in waters in the dark. So great lady, from the waters of Nun, you bring forth life. It's called the womb of life. You welcome its return each time. Your mother Nut, in her name, Kersut, embraces you. She brings you dominion over the waters, entry to the sacred land of Nun. She spreads herself above you. She conceals you from harm. She protects you, the greatest, her children. And when you talk about you, we're talking about you, yourself. Yeah, so that's the invocation of the goddess Nut for now.
You know what you just said, Mkulu. I'm just thinking and reflecting just briefly in terms of the invocation that you just recited right now, is that she is the bringer of light. And for the longest time, we've been taught to fear the night because of the parking, the ones who fly at night. Umkhulu Mochi, Angus. Yes, we've been taught to the night. That's where the creatures of the dark come out. That's when they speak of
all bad things.
All those things that they've taught you. Yeah, at night this is, and now when you say she's the bringer of life, you know it's
the opposite. It's the opposite.
Also, I'm also bearing in mind that the relationship between Unut no Geb, which means the earth. Geb is the earth. Without that whole cycle of the sun coming out and the moon coming back again, it's so powerful in a sense that plants do not grow. Also, the moon controls the waters. And without that relation, that synergy in terms of that relationship, it's like, you know, it makes sense why she would be like the bringer of life, because so profound.
Yeah, you see, it is, you know, African spirituality and African knowledge systems are so powerful because they give us tools to live a harmonious life with nature, with the heavens, or what have you, the cosmos. You have to have an understanding, like we said in our pledge, that we will give back to nature what she has given us. You know, what's the use of taking and not giving back? Like what you're saying about the moon, between the moon and the water. You know, it is all things that we learn through the knowledge of our ancestors' sciences, life sciences. It's life science, basically. Astronomy.
I don't know if you want to answer Tiro ask the question. I'm not sure if you're going to answer that question or you're going to answer it a bit later. I'm not sure if it's a she or a he. But
About
how would
serious.
you relate? Angus, Uncle?
About serious.
No, there's a second one, Uncle. How would you relate Unut and the deity? Is it Pata, or am I reading it wrong?
Can she clarify, because I'm not sure if it's talking about Pata, because the spelling was a bit
Yeah,
different. I'm confused.
please unmute and
Unmute and
expand
speak.
on your question. Is Tiro still here?
No, maybe not.
Yeah,
Maybe somebody used to speak.
because I was hoping Gutu to expand the question here, because I think maybe we might be misunderstanding. Oh, so we know his background.
Nice. Okay, no, it's fine. It's understandable.
Okay.
If it's got to do with Pata, I cannot clearly say right now, but all I can say is we always mention this, like we can't be able to. These natural powers are interrelated. There is not one which exists solely. There's no all-powerful being. Of course, there are the primary ones. Like if you speak about Ptah, if you speak about Ptah, you are speaking about a creator, a creator force, the creative force. Ptah, Amen, Ra, Atum, those are the source. Those are the highest beings. But Unut is said to have a parentage. Upta does not have a parentage. It's not born from somebody, from another deity. She is said to be. She was given birth to by Ushu. No, Tefnut. Now Tefnut is also a goddess of moisture, but it's the moisture that comes from ukuphefumula. When you speak, there is a gaseous elements that are happening. You are actually exerting some kind of energy when you speak. So Tefnut and Shu, which stands for air, if I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected, the air or breath of life, they came together. That moisture and the air came together to create the stars or the goddess Nut, right? So that's the only relation that I know, but I cannot speak of her being a part of of Ptah in any relationship. All I know, the relationship that I know, is that there's a relation between Ugeb, like we already mentioned, Ugeb, Father Earth, as we will call him, and Nut. But there is if I remember well, there is a depiction, because now we are taking this knowledge from a point of view where it used to be written on the walls of the temples, of the walls. It's still written on the temples in what we call temple. When you think of temple now, according to the Egyptian way, don't think of a place where people just go in and worship and bow down to its temple. No, that's not what a temple is in Kemet. A temple is called a house of life, Per Ankh. Per Ankh basically means that it's the house where you go to be rejuvenated. And you don't just go nominin, you don't just go in Sondo or Mkobelo or whenever. There are specific times for special kinds of rejuvenation, special kinds of services. But in one of those depictions of Nut, there is a point where Upta, no, not Upta, Uknum, there's a creator god called Knum, whose head is a shape of a ram, where he is holding her up, holding the legs below and holding her arms. And it's almost like is holding up the sky. The goddess is holding up the sky upright. So that's the only depiction that I know. I have not studied anything beyond that about Nut and Ptah.
I think I've seen also that depiction, and then there's Ugeb underneath. Yes, I've seen that depiction. So for me right now, it's a time for reflection, and it's time to plant new seeds. Unless I'm understanding the times wrong, because at the end of the year, this is a good time to actually start planning out long-term like goals for yourself. And I'm just thinking to myself, Uguti, it's a time for reflection of the year that was, and Uguti, how do you improve yourself as a human being? Because we don't have that time during the year. Actually, now we almost have to diarize that, Uguti, no, you need to take time out and actually start planning the things that you're going to do, and not just act randomly and how would you as Umkhulu, would you say, Uguti, people can incorporate that into their daily lives?
Yes. So at this time, the goddess Unut, as she governs the sky right now, well, she governs the sky all the time, but it's just her powers are more visible. Her powers are more angathini isingisi siyabaleka namhlanje isingisi wekho isingisi sibaleka serious ngumuntu okhulumayo ngiyasikhuluma lesingisi but siyabaleka but okay, Roy has things to say about child. So, but you must remember that there is this thing of different calendars. I think what he is speaking of is speaking from the Earth Center calendar, which is based on the Dogon sidereal, the Dogon reading of the sidereal calendar. So, in our upcoming, the next coming session, there will be someone speaking about astrology, solar and lunar and stellar astrology. And I ask that Roy be there so that they can actually really get to hear that. I think Umatlaba might be there to answer some of the questions with the other lady. I forgot her name. There's a lady who's going to be there dealing with just stars and the exact time. Tina, we are using what is called the Anunian calendar. We have to clarify that. And the Anunian calendar is one at this time where it is not who governs the heavens right now. We can go on deeply and technically. Gambela, if you look at like a app, like a star map or whatever, right now, we can all go into that. But let's rather get back to how is this knowledge useful for us on the daily right now. It's important to have the philosophical background, but you want to use this knowledge practically. So we are saying that Umankos is saying that this is the time of reflection, looking at the year that has passed and looking ahead of the year that is beginning. We are not only doing that, we have already put our seeds in the ground. Literally, we have planted some of the things that we have planted in August are beginning to bloom. Some of the things, umbila, for example, which I always do umbila twice. I do it in August and then I do it in the beginning of September. So this is the time I do it ritually in September, around September 11, around the Ethiopian New Year. So, and there's a reason, because I want to have double harvest. I want to have a harvest. The first harvest is a gift, and then the second harvest is for us to eat. The other harvest is for it's deep. It's got something to do with my Swatini. Yeah, and giving back, it's got something to do with Mwala things and first fruits things. Yeah, but I'm doing it not from Swat. I'm doing it for the higher powers that put these things into action. But in reality, also in your life, whatever you're doing, if you got a book project, if you have a business project that you've been trying to work on, now is the time to complete it, because unyaga uyapela. Complete the project. Even if you complete the planning of it, just make sure that within this particular time of note, finish it and start whatever thing that you need to start for this coming year. Like you said, journal, write it down, plan it, send it out to the universe, send it out to the stars. It'll rain back at you very successfully.
As you're talking about planting seeds, I remembered something. A lot of people conceive around this time. Yay, igani. Yo, guys. Angus,
I'm wondering why do people conceive at this time?
but then you did say Uguti at the beginning of the session when you started, Uguti, she's the bringer of life. You know, it kind of makes sense. It like is the best community saying, Gani. Like now that I have more context, I actually understand Uguti why is it that people actually conceive a lot around this time. I don't know if anybody has ever noted that as well. With a lot of people, who set them.
Yes, one of her titles, yes, one of her titles is she who gives birth to the gods. You know, she is the one that gives birth to all these different netter that we've been celebrating throughout the year, talking about their healing herbs, talking about what they are good for. She is the mother of all of them, you see. So she's like highly celebrated, and apparently she holds the balance. She's very much like Umaat. She holds the balance between creation and chaos. You know, between creation and chaos. So
can you expand on that? Because we've been talking about Ukoko from like from a positive standpoint, and we all know Uguti. There will always be that element, Uguti, like same as is that Mvula?
Yes, it's Mvula. Mvula says so one.
Hi Mvula.
Yeah,
so I'm just thinking, Uguti, even now, Usechmet, we spoke about the part where she destroys. And last month when we were trying to explain Umaad, Uguti, she also has that element of bringing destruction. And we know, Uguti, from the deities that or the divine forces that we've spoken about, the women, the divine forces that are represented as women, they're very feisty and they bring a lot of, in as much as they're nice, they're caring and the whatnot, but the flip side of the coin is like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone,
do you want to expand
when
on
you're
that?
saying that, when you're saying that, I was reading on Twitter the other day, one of the, I think his name is called Konsu the Revealer or something, some brother, some guy who's a Kemetic adherent. When you say you embrace my art, you must be able to embrace also the fact that there will be punishments. He was basically saying that it's not a walk in the park. It's about writing yourself. It's about correcting your personality issues, your anger management, your anything that is got to do with your infirmities, or not infirmities, but your fragility, whatever it is that weakens your resolve to become the greatest that you can be. Uma Art is there to remind you that and what it is that you are here to do, to remind you of your divine purpose. So kubalulekile to actually understand these matters according to that. But not one of her depiction, she's drawn as a woman ophethe ukam. You understand? One of in her hand she's got the ankh, but on her head uphethe ukam. Now so many people say that Lolo Kamba there is water, so she depicts water. I say she depicts uphethe amabele, seeds, sokam. That is my understanding of her. That in that pot she's not only carrying water, she's carrying life itself. She's carrying life-giving food, including utshwala.
But they wouldn't be wrong if that's Amanzi, and I'll tell you why. Because she controls the moon, ne? And we all know the relationship in terms of the moon and water. And also bearing in mind that we are we 80% water as well?
Yeah, like 75%.
I believe my percentage is. Uncle.
No, go back.
No, so we are 80% water as well, Natine. And often at a time when the moon cycle is not going badly, we can also feel it in terms of us being drained and whatnot. Natisibe overexcited about certain stuff and nan. And in some way, I would believe it if they said it's water, but I think it depends of which side, it does it really have to be that one thing, I bet?
No,
Also.
not really. But no, think of water. If you think of water, water is the element of life. It's the life source. It's the life giver. But again, we have to reiterate this thing. There is no life made from just one element, right? It's not made from one element. Water itself, by itself, it doesn't give. There needs to be some germ, right? There needs to be something that gives, that there is the spark of life. If you look at Nut, angithiwa umama wakhe is air, ubaba wakhe is air, umama wakhe is moisture. So really in the pot, it is up to speculation, or it is up to us to actually study deeper the lifestyles of the people that worshipped her as a goddess. Study during their worship of Nut, what is it that they will bring to the altar, to the Umsam Nut, you know? Otherwise, just looking at the picture and getting things from the internet is not going to give us a full picture. The thing that gives us a full picture is the lifestyles of the people. Like Tina Lagwazu, well, us in amongst the Nguni people, we have Nomkubuluan. You know, almost all these goddesses have the attributes of Nomkubuluan. But what is Nomkubuluan? Some African scholars will tell you, Nguni people never worshipped a god, a male god specifically, where we will go on a particular day and say, Mvelinqangi, or Nkulunkulu, or whatever, right? We only started doing that after colonization. But it was Nomkubulwane who had festivals. And our festivals, Nomkubulwane would embrace the entirety of the society. We would look at, because they were about Intsimi, we talk about Intsimi Kanomkubulwane. Intsimi, for all those who don't speak isiZulu, it's a garden, right? And it's a garden that is sown and left there. But there's a whole story behind that. I don't want to go deeply. I'm making an example. And in Nigeria, in West Africa, you have Yemaya, who's the goddess of creation and water. But there are certain things, there are certain seeds, there are certain kinds of food that are eaten during the celebration of her festivals, you know. And there's many others who are types of Yemaya, or the daughters of Yemaya. But again, important to know that these are not idols. African people must understand that all these are just, they're not idols. They are principles of life. If you study psychology, you will call them archetypes. You know, that's all I want to say for now. I think I'm speaking a lot. I would like to hear our community, if anything they need to say. But you speak first.
No, you know, I actually was thinking right now, Uguti, see, the 3 months that are coming now. Remember, Uguti Spuma, esikhathini sokuzila, ngalesikhathi sagcina ngayo ubaba lo set. And then right now, it almost feels like we are about to enter into that season, Uguti, igcwele nje, like it's pity. It's all, like it's pity, and it's not what is pity this is bad, because people are like coming out of their shells now, and actually they're like celebration of life, celebration of like the beauty that God has that has created. Soon we're gonna be entering a season and I'm just thinking right now that I think this month before singena esizinin le yokuthi sihlanye kakhulu, it was very important that you actually planned out your year. Nanoma when you start celebrating the achievements of the year that was, and or you like celebrating the life. It's a good thing to first, it almost reminds us to first plan, and then uzihlele kahle izinto zakho bese ungahamba uyodlala nabanye abantwana. I don't know, the way ahlelwe ngakhona inyanga.
Zihlelwe kahle, zihlelwe. You see, our ancestors did these things with love. Not just with love for us who will come after them, but also with a deep wisdom of nature. This is all basically about how to observe nature so that you can order your life accordingly. Now, you can either do that through nature or we can do it through dogma. And I'm not saying people who are into the dogma of Western religions are wrong. They're not wrong, but they must look carefully at the full spectrum of what their embrace of a male-dominated God actually means. What energy does it send out into the world to actually worship only males, whether it's Jehovah, the Father, or the Son, or whether it's the other gods, whether it's Allah and Muhammad, the Prophet? The women in all these dramas, in all these divine dramas of Western religions and Near Eastern religions and Northeastern religions, the women are almost like supporting characters. They're not the main characters. Only in African spirituality and in native spiritualities of other parts of the world, women take the foreground. They matter. Women matter. They don't matter in August. They matter all the time. So that says something about us as Africans and our ancestors and their wisdom. We've been told that we are a patriarchal society, but no, we only became a increasingly and violently patriarchal societies when we started embracing forces that are one-sided. I have to mention that because these one-sided forces create behavior in us. We may think, oh, I'm very loving to my wife. Even my scripture tells me, embrace your wife, man, love your wife, whatever. But then it also says someone must be subservient, not subservient, submit to someone. This submission, it's different when it doesn't go both ways. So Nut, like just to finish that particular part, the ancient Egyptians said that Nut and Geb were passionate lovers. They were passionate lovers. So the earth, father, and the sky, goddess, they are passionate lovers. According to the story, it says that sometimes they will embrace so much they will not let go of each other. And then Shu, the father, would come between, the air will come between them and separate them for a particular part of the year. And then they will always eager. The sky is always eager to touch the earth. And the earth is always eager. Earth and its people is always eager to reach up to the heavens. And the people of heaven are also eager to touch the people of the earth. So that love, that embrace, it's a mythological thing, but it's very important to understand its symbolism and what it means. So
you know why I'm smiling right now.
I love that love story. And by the way, Geb is always depicted with his penis up, but you can talk about that.
You know why I love that. You know why I love that story, ne? In as much as it's metaphorical and historical, but I'm just remembering now, there's an equinox coming up.
Yes.
And the sun is returning to the southern hemisphere as well. I'm just thinking, the divine force that's about to enter, he's a very fiery person. He controls the wars and everything like that. And and she has those elements about her, but the wind and everything like that. And I'm just thinking now, during the month of, when you say that they had to be separated, like in a sense that
it's too strong.
Yes. And I'm glad is a lot of people conceive during this time of the year.
There you go. You see, in the old story, these two forces, they loved each other so much that they really wanted to have offspring. They wanted to have children, but they were not allowed because 306 up. There was no time, according to the story, there was no time in the 360-day calendar that they could embrace. So they were given 5 days. Those 5 days, the 365 days calendar is based on that on that story of the 5 extra days that they were given to be with each other and then to be separated for the rest of the 365 days. You see, so it's very mathematical, it's very logical. The symbolism itself just basically tells you, because this is really about just real life. Everything else is art. It's art. Art is just the language, showing us back, drawing us back to nature, drawing us back to living a life that is really in harmony with nature. It's nothing beyond that. But their children, like you said, Heru comes through. But one of their children, she gives birth to 5 children, and those 5 children are a symbol of the days, right? And the children are Osar. Who's coming up next?
Osa.
Yes. So the first child is Osar. The first. But now, by the way, I was listening to another podcast. Umunyubaba Kuluma about Osar as a. There was a podcast about Theophilo Benga, the student of Sheikh Anta Diop, who wrote a lot about. He's still alive. He writes a lot of books about civilizations, different world civilizations, especially Black civilizations, especially the and how it actually influenced the rest of the world civilizations. So he says he calls Sheikh Anta Diop by the name of Osar, just like Ababa Muto is called Oset or Isis. So he calls Sheikh Yes, Nozi. So Osar, he says that Osar was a living being. A skull has been found. The skull was actually found of Osar. So one time we are saying these are symbolic beings, but the evidence keeps coming up that some of these netter that we're speaking about, these forces we're speaking about, were actually living beings that actually did things physically.
It would make sense in some way. It would make sense when you say that, because it's the debate is still out whether abantu bakaJesu uJesu ke waphila noma is he symbolic?
Yes.
Is he symbolic?
That's a very important example that you're raising, because if you speak about Jesus or Yeshua, there's enough evidence to prove that it didn't exist, but there's also enough evidence to prove that he did exist. You see, so it's the evidence is equal. For those who are skeptical about his existence, you can find enough literature, and for those who are absolutely not just believers, those who are looking at him through history, there's enough evidence. So this is why, as they come, we don't try to play in the religious. We're not talking religion. We're talking symbolism. We're talking life. We're talking medicine, right? So not just medicine, just lifestyle, right? So, but also Osar no Heru. Many books have been written about how Christ, the Christ figure, is actually a type of Osar. If you look at everything that happened to Osar, it happened to Christ. But Osar was there 5,000 years before Christ was born. If you're looking at it on a historical level.
Also, Uheru, there's a lot of similarities between Yeshua and Heru.
And Heru. Yeah.
Even the mythology, even the when I call it mythology. Uneli osho kanjalo. Uneli osho kanjalo. Not even the mythology, the story in terms of the birth and the rising, and it's so similar to what is written in the walls of the temples, to the point that some people would say it's stolen, but then we don't subscribe to. We don't like. You take what you can, and you just run with it. Hence, you mustn't cancel things to the point that, because you might end up canceling yourself in the process.
Exactly.
Because remember, we had even Manje, who does Nut not look so similar to Krishna?
Very much so.
That's why I was like,
they also say Osar is Krishna also. You see, so
for me, I'm always on that tip. Don't cancel things. Don't be so quick to cancel out things, because you might end up canceling yourself in the process, because we are still unraveling a lot of this due to the disturbance that happened, that came with colonization. A lot of our cultures have been erased.
Yes.
And for me, I just wanted to show people something. The reason why I say people must not cancel them a lot of things out, because they will end up canceling themselves in the process. These are Indian people. I wanna show you these in terms of these are Indian people. I'm gonna share my screen now.
They are our children, civilizationally. They all come from us.
So these are the Andaman people. If you can see the screen now, these are the Andaman people of the Andaman Islands.
Make
And
it bigger.
according,
Yeah, okay, I can
will,
increase myself. I can see.
so these are the Andaman people of the Andaman Islands. And these are Indian people.
They look like they're from Congo.
Yeah, they're classified as Indian people.
Oh, Ashlenbo.
Hey,
People of the Andaman Islands. Yeah, I wanna get this one. It's a whole story by itself. Why are you showing us this?
in a sense that people must not cancel things to the point that they cancel themselves in the process, because
That's
these
true.
people are from India. These, you find them in India.
Yeah, well,
in
beyond
India.
India, there's all over. You know, the art, the pub, Ubaba Losando Kotama recently, Losando Kshona recently, Runoko Rashidi, he was a scholar. Yeah, all indigenous people look black, right? Unita is in Australia, and we all know who the original Australians are. And everywhere in the world, including Indonesia, even China, original people of China with dark-skinned people. But anyway, Ubaba Runoko Rashidi, his books are about the African presence all over the world. One of his famous quotations is, "The sun never sets on the children of Africa." I mean, when it's rising on this west, you still see Africans. If it's setting, I mean, when it's rising in the east, the African people there who are originally from there. And if it's setting, if you go to Jamaica, there's people called the Maroons. You know, the island, Jamaica is there, going to the Atlantic Ocean or Pacific, I don't know, but there, I go America.
It's there right
You know?
next to, is it not next to the Americas, the two Americas?
Yeah. But also another very thing, I'd like to get our people to speak a little bit. But lately, I've been watching a lot of podcasts from Native Americans. The Native Americans have amazing spiritual practices, which are so similar to African African spiritual practices. The way they revere nature, the mother goddesses, and everything. The embrace of their ancestors. Their ancestors are so important. But lately, I was watching videos that have to do with a lot with prophecies. These men were talking about prophecies that were said by their about the coming of the white man. Saying with the coming of the white man, there will be so much desolation, there will be so much destruction, and there will be so much things that look like progress, but that progress will cost the earth so much that the earth will respond. So a lot of things we're talking about how the earth responds to how we abuse it, how we abuse the sea. There's even pollution in outer space these days. You know, there's pollution in the
And
sea,
it's a good time for us to actually acknowledge those things, because iskhathi sakanut, at the end of the year, you give back. You give back to those who are less fortunate than you. And I think maybe we need to create a movement during this time. We actually take time to give back, not just to give back to those who are less fortunate than us, but also giving back to nature. As you just said, Wuti, the first seeds that you plant, they are for nature, they're not for you. And then the second seeds that you plant, those are for you and your family. And it's very important that we give back. And it's very profound that you actually mentioned the South American or the indigenous people of America. Because last time when we spoke about Usehmet, I said, Oguti, when I was doing my research about Umama Usehmet, I came across a woman called Spider Woman. And it's like, when everything fails you or whatever, you summon Spider Woman. Can't remember. What was the tribe in America? It's part of the
I
indigenous
think
people of America.
Incas. It was a Southern American, the Inca, the Olmecs, so-called Olmecs, the ancestors of the Mexicans. Yeah. Bathing abantu lapho. Bathing abantu. There's 11 comments.
Nisa says we are the original people that first walked the earth. I just want to see, maybe we might have a question on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yes, I want to see if we have something on Facebook, a question on Facebook, because sometimes we neglect our Facebook people in terms of the questions that they raise, and they raise valid questions. And it would be so nice that we actually respond to them while we are still on air. Okay, Machilo, this is on Facebook. She says the teaching deserves TV. Okay, Unozi is a compliment. Nozi Masugu. She says this teaching deserves TV. My people need to hear this. Tamaku, thank you so much. I think Umkulu Menzi has been the one who's sharing so much during this season. Tamaku Umkulu. Machilo Tumelo Mutsei. Kim Mama Chila, we hosted her last episode.
Yes.
And she says, in elements, fire can warm and burn, water can give and take life. That was
about the elements, you see.
Yo. So he says, Untabiseng Matsome. Please forgive me if I did not pronounce your name properly. Please do forgive me. Uti, according to the Taurian Runoko Rashindi, we are present across globe since ancient times.
Yes, she's repeating what was said.
Yeah.
Yes, any more? That's it? Okay, all right.
No, we only have four comments.
All right.
Did I read the comment about Nita from Nita?
About?
Can you go back and answer Tiro Yabadim on the first one in terms of the Syrians? Because those ones, they hold the ancient knowledge of the stars, of the Great Mother. I feel like by Ngelebeleng, Uyu Mama directly, like seriously, the Syrians of Dogon. And
the Dogon. Well, you know, these are, for me, it's a wide topic that I would rather not get into right now. Where the reason why I gave him the answer I gave him about our slightly different calendar. The calendars are slightly different. It's like when you're observing the sky from the equator, you may see the same stars, but it's not the same. They're not in the same position as someone watching them from Cape Town or from here, where we are here, right? What the Dogon, and the systems also were slightly different. Although I mean, everyone knows the story of the Dogon. You can just go online or get a book talking about how the Dogon were the first to observe a Sirius A and Sirius B, its rising and its falling and its appearance. They're the first Africans to do this without even using a telescope. So they have a system,
even
a system
the
of astronomy.
people, they're very knowledgeable
about stars. Yes, that's why we must have this coming year. We must have Uzulu Matabo. We must have Uzulu Matabo. We must have him in to speak. I'm gonna write to him. He has to be one of our guests this coming year. He's gonna speak about the Basotho. Yeah, just specifically about. I want him to speak about mathematics and astronomy.
The Basotho people when it comes to stars.
They're amazing. Yeah. So, but the issue is with the Kambi, and it's what we are doing. You keep reiterating this. Our people know these things, but they're not taught at universities, and they are not mainstream knowledge. There's no television program that speaks about them. There's no radio program. maybe sometimes on radio they'll have a guest talking about these things, but talking about them is not enough. We must do what Baba Mutsengiza, Umkhulu Mutsengiza is doing. Make it into a lifestyle. Make it into, if Cyrus is rising, if there's an equinox, we go together, we get together, and we embrace that festival. We embrace the time. Baba Mutsengiza is one of the people that, even this book that we are using, the calendar that we are using, we owe it to him. You know, we were talking recently, we need to go, or what? And you were like, no, we need
He's
to
an elder, you
actually
can't
pay
call him,
him
you
a
have to go to
visit.
him.
We need to go and thank him.
Mm.
Yeah, we need to go and thank him for actually opening up. I mean, I've been in studying chemetic science for almost 11, 12 years. That he has made it very, very simple for me. Made it very, not simple, but it has made me embrace it in such a way that I know that it is a lived experience. And it's got to do with African calendar. It's got to do with me becoming the best that I can be. So we thank
Even
him.
the
We
children
honor.
are able to understand the teachings. Yeah, even the children,
Yeah.
in terms of how he presents the teachings. And I like the fact that he actually made a children's room esikolweni, Orlando.
Mm.
And for me, that's where I'm like, guys, the next generation must not start where we started.
Okay. Can I send this book to the public?
The book is it not online?
You can drop his email and then we can send it to him. It's downloadable though.
Yeah, we'll email it.
It's
Yeah,
easier
it's
if we
done. So what you can do if you want the book, so it's written also when you read it, because me and Mkhulu Menzo, we read the book together. So what we realized is because it's written by a non-black person. No, Mamqami ukhona la. We read the book.
You live space.
No, Mamqami. It has its own. You must read it with a pinch of salt. Like you need to be sober-minded. I don't know, like when I say sober-minded, I'm not talking about alcohol. I mean that you must be, please send us an email on admin
No, just read it
natural
together.
healing.
Repeat, please. No, repeat email.
So the email is admin@naturalhealing.coza, or alternatively, you can it can be healing@gmail.com.
Yes.
It can be healing@gmail.com. So if
no,
or you can send us an inbox. Any of our social media. So if you send us an inbox on any of our social media, I will probably send you the address there. So if you just drop a message, so Siamba it can be naturalhealing.co.za.
I don't know if it's visible.
This is how the book cover it looks like.
Maybe there's too much light, I'm not sure. Yeah, but
it's always nicer to read this book with other people as well. You need to read the book with other people. You won't be able to understand some of the things if you're just one, because you need to dissect. So we had a book, a reading group that we created when we were reading this book. And then maybe next year we can think about rereading the book again for those, but it takes up so much time that we need to hire someone for that. But yeah, so do we have questions or comments from the audience or the people who are here sharing our space with us? Do we have any comments? Let me check again on Facebook.
While we're waiting, I wanted to just say that it is any book, whether it's a Bible or whether it's a textbook of any sort, you read it with other books. You have to understand the context and from both the author. KRS-One used to say, if you don't know the author of the book, you don't know what you are reading. You know, when I was reading, when I was studying the Bible, for example, I needed to know who Paul was, you know, to understand the New Testament. I needed to understand historically who is Matthew. when you talk about Moses, the lawgiver, who is he? I must not just take it at face value with, oh, they received it from God. For me, that was never enough. So it gave me a deeper understanding of the scripture to understand who were the characters, both fictional and historical, who were actually doing that work. So yeah, with this book, I mean, obviously, it's African knowledge, but it's written by a lady from Europe who has spent a lot of time, who actually has a school. She's an Egyptologist, and she references other books, and many of the books that she references are books written by African people. You know, some of the books that she references are actually written by African people. But more than anything, she's not just referencing books; she's referencing what is actually written on the per ankh, on the pyramid walls, and then in other sources that are living sources of African ancient knowledge.
And it goes
Ngicabanga
ngiyacabanga
usesiyabani.
nami. Ngiyacabanga nami. I just wanted to just say to everybody that we pre-recorded the session. The next session that will be uploaded is pre-recorded, and you know what? Umatlaba had a very beautiful interview with our guest, so we will publish the bio your guest there, where they talk about the importance of astrology in our culture, as well as how then that those were incorporated. But we also have an elder coming. I have to say, you know, we also have an elder coming. As was Uguti, what's happening, and I'm so hoping that they also address the whole issue about the whole calendar. That mangiti sigu nut. It doesn't mean, it depends on what kind of a calendar. You're not wrong if you think we are in a different season. You're not wrong, in as much as that I am not wrong. In as much as the Gregorian people, according to them, they are on another season. But also, we need to understand each other. Which calendar am I using? It can be when we speak about season, we usually use the Anunian calendar. And
Absolutely.
we're not saying that the other calendars are not good. It's just that it's easier for us. It's less complex.
It works with our southern hemisphere. This one works quite properly with our southern hemisphere. When you look at the sky, and you look at the goddess, and we look at the nature, and we look at what's happening in nature. During Set, we saw the chaos. Before Set, we saw what was happening. Even before that, we saw. Well, it is accurate for us. It is not. We are not evangelizing other people to use it, but we can recommend its use because it came from a good source, and we think it's good. Yeah. Anything else?
We don't have any further comments. Oh, Ubongile Ntombela, Umam Ntombela has raised their hands. Umam Ntombela.
Okay, you can speak.
Yeah. I just wanted to get clarity again on which calendar you're using. I'd just like to look it up and just get more information on that.
We are using the Anunian calendar. The Anunian calendar.
Okay. All right.
And then some people, they use the Tree of Life calendar. There's different types of calendars. So we use the Anunian calendar.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Basically, by Anunian, we have to just clarify. We mean Anu. Now, Anu is a double-sided word. There was actually a person called Anu in ancient Kemet, but it also means it's another word for Ntu. So a calendar is Ntu. It's based on the Dendera calendar, which is in the temple of Heteru. It's based on that actual. There's a calendar that was drawn, that was painted on the roof of the temple of the goddess Heteru. So that was taken, and it was depicted. It shows both the solar, lunar, and sidereal or stellar timekeeping. So that's what it's just called the Anunian calendar, because ancient Egypt had different calendars. They had a calendar they had a calendar for what do they call it? Civil year. The civil year. Blah 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 blah, and they had the agricultural calendar. And then they had
And I
a
think it would
sacred
be,
calendar.
I think it would be
Sacred.
best to put actually the full Dendera calendar because it also shows the equinoxes as well.
GEK, you can contact GEK.
Yes,
The GEK
Okay.
is
Great Empire of Kemet.
yeah.
We have an elder coming and they will touch on the Sirius rising. Because we have it, like it would be an injustice for me and I when we know there's an elder that we've invited an elder to come and talk about this topic because
And also, I don't want to speak about it because I don't have full knowledge of it. I've read up about it, I've studied it, but I am not an expert in whether Sirius is rising now or it's rising later and all that. I'll have to reference, I'll have to go in and look at that. And some of our partners, some of our colleagues, people who are in the same space as us, like Afro Savvy or Boss Lady, or what's her name, Zanem Vula, and all those people, they are doing great work showing. They are speaking about the same thing. They use the same calendar as us, and they elucidate even further on what happened. So yeah, that we are not alone in that work. There's many.
With that being said, Mkulu, when are we publishing the video of astrology? Just bear in mind that the video is pre-recorded based on timings and everything. It's pre-recorded, so there will not be a live session. So you will catch the video on our YouTube channel. We are not going live for this one. We've already done it. It's pre-recorded. So, but we will be publishing.
I think we said, is it the 12th? The 12th. It's next. Yeah, the next
Sunday.
weekend. The next Sunday, yes. Yeah, the next Sunday.
So we will be publishing that. So if you have questions, because after that video is published, because it's pre-recorded, we will have a Q&A session for the guests. So if you've got questions, just drop us an email. And then when we have the Q&A session will be live. Yes. But also it's nice if we tumela ama imibuzo yako beforehand. I don't know if it actually makes sense, like beforehand, because then it gives the person enough time. And also your questions do not get lost in when you're actually waiting for an opportunity during the Q&A. And you can just send the question beforehand about that session. Please do that. Or you can leave the question in the comment section. I will write them down and send them through to the guest. Please do. It will be published on YouTube only, no, not on Facebook. So our viewers on Facebook, please do journey to our YouTube channel and go watch them. Yes, go watch the video there. Like, share, iyasikhuthaza ukuthi sisahamba ngendlela abantu mangabe basakhona ukuthi basithumele imilayezo nakho konke. Please do send us a message. We appreciate it. With that being said, Mkhulu.
Siyabonga. Siyathokoza. Ashe. Nibe nosuku oluhle everyone.